Hey guys, I'm Chris.
Hey everybody, I'm Robert.
And it's time again to shoot those flames.
That's right. As the Foam Flamers do at the start of every month. Here it is April, spring has sprung, and everywhere I look, I can't see anything because my eyes have swollen shut from all of my allergies.
That's right, your eyes look like little buttholes.
How are you enjoying your first few weeks of Texas spring?
It's actually great. I'm sitting out in the sun, which I haven't done in 87 years since the pandemic started, so.
That's right, gotta get that vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just ready for your pool to be open. Come on, June.
That's one thing you can't do in Massachusetts in June.
Get into a pool?
Well, I mean, you could.
If
it was heated. Or if you're okay with 60-degree water.
You lose your balls entirely.
Yes, you swallow them.
Anyway, what else is going on?
I don't know. I'm thinking about all the stupid people that are in our country right now, just in general.
Yeah, I really... the other day, I listened to news radio when I drive to work and drive my car, and I thought to myself, man, I haven't really heard anything about the president lately, right? And I was like, oh, but that's kind of good that I don't have to hear about Biden every fucking day like we did with Trump, right?
His first news conference, and people were like, oh my God, he didn't, throw scientists under the bus, or he didn't, say how he was best friends with a dictator, or...
That's right.
He didn't make fun of a disabled reporter, or something, or actually stop press conferences altogether.
There have been political news. It's gotten to the point where I even forgot that Biden was president for a minute. It's been so nice to not have to hear about how awful our president is every single fucking day. So I'm really enjoying that. However, I think the general population obviously has not changed overnight in America.
Well,
so
no.
Yeah,
certainly not. And it's funny, there's repercussions to a lot of the lies that were told before and during the election. A lot of the stuff like Alex Jones early on, late in 2020, his defense now, Fox News, the pattern now is their main defense for all these lawsuits is that no reasonable person would believe them.
Oh, please. Well, then why would you say it in the fucking first place?
Yeah. I think several shows on Fox News now and Alex Jones, their legal defense is literally that no reasonable person would believe them.
So at that point, you have to call yourself not news, right?
They're not going to cover those lawsuits, so the people that are listening to Fox News don't know that their legal defense is that no reasonable people would believe them.
That's true.
It's fucking retarded. It's a circus, is what it is. Meanwhile, they're riling up everyone in the country against Asians, and so we're getting all this Asian hate. Stop Asian hate, people. I mean,
for real, that whole murder spree was just completely avoidable, right? And the thing that really pissed me off about that was when that police officer, or someone who worked for the sheriff's office in that area said, well, he was having a bad day, so we don't know why he did these things. And I was like, well, that does not excuse someone from going and committing mass murder. Stop saying he was having a bad day.
Well, when you have your messiah, Trump, saying, oh, it's the China virus, and
right.
Every single chance he gets, he puts the blame on a race or a country or something like that. You've got 40% of the country, which is Trump voting, mouth breathing idiots, going out and harassing Asian people.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, how many times did he call it the fucking Kung Flu and shit like that?
Oh, my God.
Still though, after these murders too, they were like, well, we don't know if it was a hate crime or not. I'm like, well, he killed a bunch of people of the same ethnicity. Obviously he was targeting something. And I know they talked about it being some sort of sex addiction. And I'm like, well, that doesn't excuse anything either. He killed a bunch of Asian people. Of course, it's a fucking hate crime. The whole thing just pissed me off. And it seems to be spiraling out of control when Asian communities across the nation are coming out and saying that they're fearful for their lives. Yep. Right. It's just ridiculous and something that we shouldn't be experiencing.
Embarrassing. Just more and more fallout from Trump and his ilk and where he came from. It's just the continuing embarrassment of our country.
I'm still glad, though, that I haven't heard a whole bunch about Trump in the news. And every day I am super grateful for that. And I hope that it continues.
But anyway, we digress because this is not a political show. This is a horror show. So the politics we do talk about are pretty horrific, but...
That's right. Horror in real life. But this is Shooting the Flames. So it's our monthly chat show where Chris and I sit down and we talk about things like trailers, horror news, and most importantly, comments, questions, and reviews from you, our listeners.
Dong, dong, dong. Wait, that's the More You Know tune.
Still.
Is there a tune that goes with the PBS from viewers like you?
I don't know. I usually change the channel when that comes on PBS.
Well, let's pretend it's the NBC tune.
Dum, dum, dum.
The more you know.
The more you comment. We don't have any reviews this month to read, so skipping right over that. But if you would want to leave us a review, you can do that on Apple Podcasts. and we will read them here on Shooting the Flames next month. So go do it, please. It really helps us out. We do, however, have some comments from our episodes. And let's start, if you would like, from our deep dive into Day of the Dead.
That's right. At Dr. Butcher MD2 said, the tone of Day is insane, but it fits with Romero keeping the same-ish scenario throughout each film fresh and interesting. It's also good for Romero finally writing a female character with some agency, which I think was probably a goal he had set for himself.
And this is something that we talked about when we were talking about Day of the Dead, right?
Yep.
That finally he had a character that had more agency. Although I will say that...
Yeah, it's like his Ripley.
Yeah, I think that you can see a natural progression through this trilogy of women having more of a voice and what's going on and having more agency. And so he just reached a sort of a pinnacle with Day of the Dead. But yeah, we completely agree with you.
Yeah.
At Eats Mario said, I've only seen each of the films in this trilogy once, and Day was my very favorite. I'm glad both of you found it did a bit more for you on this rewatch.
What kind of person do you have to be to enjoy Day of the Dead more than Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead? I wonder.
I don't know. Eats Mario, tell us why it was your favorite. I think we'd like to know.
Yeah, please do. Like, maybe just a very fun-loving person.
Yeah, maybe he likes a lot of gore in his movies.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, there's plenty of gore in Dawn of the Dead.
Maybe it makes him hungry. Maybe Eats Mario is a zombie.
Maybe. Did we talk about what our favorites were when we were recording that from this trilogy?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we all kind of said like it's kind of like a 5-star movie, a 4-star movie, or even a 5-star, and then like a 3-star. You know,
right.
Like it kind of goes down as he starts making them go through. And I feel like that's the kind of the consensus. Mm-hmm. But obviously, everything like that is subjective. Everything with art is subjective. So if Day of the Dead is your favorite, then so be it.
That's good. You know, everyone should have their favorites. And I will say he's right. I did like it more on this rewatch. Like we said in that episode, I even gave it 4 stars, right? So, I mean, it was vastly improved on this rewatch.
Yeah. From our deep dive into Resident Evil, we've got a bunch of comments.
That's right. You guys were ready to talk about Resident Evil with us.
Yeah. Starting with, at My Diet is Bad. Same here. They should have just did the Romero script.
It's easy to say that at My Diet is Bad, but we haven't read the Romero script, right? So we have no idea what it would be like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I would also have liked to see what Romero have done with this movie, but we don't know that they should have done that.
Exactly.
At the Real GL Hell Jordan said, enjoyed the first film. Series got shittier as it went along. The original score was also a favorite of mine. And yes, deep dive for Event Horizon.
Oh yeah. We're well on our way.
It's going to happen, Michael, for sure.
It's any day now. We'll put it on the docket.
Yeah. It may even happen before the end of this year.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we're ready to talk about it.
Very well could. At Gummy Fredo said, for the record, my son immensely enjoys Resident Evil, so I think it holds up. But he's 15, so that might be a part of it. I think this is in reference to us saying that we didn't enjoy it as much this time around. It didn't age as well as we wanted it to.
Right.
We still, of course, chose to do a deep dive on it because, of course, we're both nostalgic about it. We both really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But on this watch, I don't think either of us had seen it for 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Or something. And, it didn't quite hit. It didn't quite slap, as the youngins say. It didn't slap like it used to.
I hate that slang. It just makes no sense to me. Slap is a bad thing. It's not a good thing.
No.
Oh,
the zombie slap.
People stop saying that to me, please. At BattleBurrito over on Twitter said, until Resident Evil 4, the Resident Evil games were very low action and slow third-person games. Although shooting was present, the focus on the games was puzzle solving and exploration. The quote-unquote action in the original Resident Evil was very slow, clunky, de-emphasized.
Yeah, so that's my husband. Mm-hmm. And he reamed me. I got a reaming.
You got a reaming?
Because I got the first few games of Resident Evil incorrect in my description of them to you in our deep dive. So I apologize, gaming community. I was not an early Resident Evil player. I was a Doom, Heretic, Hexen, Quake, Duke Nukem player.
I mean, but a good reaming can be hot, right? So maybe just make some more mistakes like that on the podcast and see what happens.
I was in the middle of a drink.
That's when I make my best jokes.
At Movie Geek and Proud Podcast said, fun episode on the review of Resident Evil. I don't have too many big memories of this, and one day I will rewatch it. From what I do remember, I do agree with your opinions of it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And again, We don't hate this movie. So, because somebody else just they replied a gif of some angry looking kid like giving side eye, and I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I was like, well, are they saying that they don't agree with us or something?
It's like, come on, guys, give us a little break. We decided to deep dive into it because we liked it. We thought there was a lot to talk about. We thought it was like pivotal, at time. Obviously, we talked about that in cinema and cinema horror and action horror.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, a lot of it just came to our end reviews, how we, didn't like it as much as we used to, and it didn't age as well as we wanted it to. We still liked it. We still put a lot into that episode.
And it's so funny because I think it's one of our like more fun episodes in a while, actually. Like I thought everyone would have a good time listening to it because I did. So
that ending rating just like ruined all of it, and then everyone was just like, fuck you.
Yeah, I think people feel very strongly about Resident Evil. So
okay.
Dog Daddy's 82 over on Instagram said, I was so psyched to see this movie when it came out, as I'm a fan of the video game series. I didn't hate the film, but was disappointed that it strayed so far from the source material. I am interested to see how you guys like the reboot film coming out this September. Also, this episode dropped on the 25th anniversary of the first game coming out in Japan.
It just keeps happening.
I know. We have no idea about any of these anniversary dates or things like that. We just pick a movie and stick it in a spot, and then lo and behold, here it is.
Some of our movies we've put in place a year in advance on the calendar.
Right.
And it'll just end up being released on or the same month as or something of some sort of something that's happening, like a re-release of the film on, or like, obviously like the 20th or 30th anniversary, like Interview the Vampire that happened, like so many others. It just keeps happening to us. So it's like God telling us that, we're on track.
That's right. We're doing right. And of course, we wouldn't have known this information had you not commented that on Instagram. So, I mean, thank you, because it made us happy.
We were born this way.
Capital H-I-M.
So from our deep dive into Dr. Sleep, Sarah from Podbean said, thanks for not wasting 2 hours of my life. I love hearing your podcast episodes, but it was measles, not polio in Dr. Sleep. And you guys don't even mention that the good guys don't die in the book. Hopefully, I'll get to see the movie soon.
You really should see the movie because it's very good. Although I'm glad that you're reading the book because it's also very good.
Wait, so she listened to the whole deep dive, having read the book but not the movie. So not seen the movie.
So, I mean, thank you for commenting. And we don't get a lot of comments on Podbean, so that's also fun to see comments in new places.
Yep.
But you need to watch the movie and keep listening to the podcast because we're a movie podcast, not a book podcast. And I haven't read that book in a very long time, Sarah, so I forgot some pivotal moments. And
also in my defense, I'm the one that said that because I remembered that you told me that, but you had forgotten, so you weren't able to correct me. So it was like third-hand knowledge of the book.
It's just like misinformation being passed around everybody, spread around like some sort of misinformation pandemic.
Yeah. At least it didn't say chicken pox.
They're all getting chicken pox or something. I don't know.
They're all verklempt.
We have no new patrons this month to mention, but we do have to shout out everybody who is at the Film Flamer tier or higher, and they are
Ben, Amber, Penelope, and Lisa Libby.
So thank you guys for your continued support, and head over to patreon.com/thefilmflamers where you can get all of our bonus content and join the family over there. Lots of good conversations going on, so come check it out.
Horror news.
Well, it finally happened. Academy Award nominations have come out.
And there's very little, if no horror whatsoever. I think there was one visual effects or something.
So, Love and Monsters, which I liked very much. And you also did too, right? Mm-hmm. It got best visual effects. And I mean, in some sort of adjacency, Promising Young Woman did get several nominations, including Best Picture.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's good. But I will say that obviously everything is happening later than usual. So we should have gotten these nominations way back in January, but everything has been postponed. And I thought that there would be, a good chance for some genre films to sort of be nominated this year because they changed their rules and let things that were streaming be eligible. You don't have to have been shown in a theater. So, but of course, the Academy isn't brave enough to do some nominations like that. But the BAFTAs this year got a couple things right. So His House was nominated for Best British Film.
Good.
And Best Actress and Best New British Director. So I'm so glad that movie's being recognized in some form during the Academy Awards season. So.
Well, I was going to say, because I feel like Promising Young Woman is more aligned with the times, right? The last, 3-4 years have been like Me Too and all these other things, and, more power to that movement. However, before that, I would say one of the biggest things being talked about was the refugee crisis that we were having from several different countries from the last 4 to 8 years, right? And so I feel like if His House had come out a little earlier or maybe later than this, not around the same time, like Promising Young Woman is much more in line with the current like zeitgeist, I would say. Yeah. But that's exactly what I was going to say, is that we actually got a question from Stacy, who said, what horror movies this year do you think should have been given nominations? And I want to say His House should have been nominated for something, best original screenplay, possibly even best picture. I really wanted to see, in line with Me Too movement, I would have loved to see Invisible Man nominated, especially for acting.
Yeah, Elizabeth Moss did an excellent job in that movie. Yeah. And more so than that movie had some really good visual effects. It had some good sound editing. You have to have good sound editing when one of your characters is not seen.
Well, in fact, if you go to Letterboxd, they had popular votes of the best things of the year, and Elizabeth Moss was voted #1 for best actress over all movies this year. And that was Letterboxd. It's not just horror, it's everything.
And Haley Bennett from Swallow, I think, was just fantastic in that movie. Like, I will die on this hill. And, I thought for sure, like, this is the year that we're not going to see that many releases, and they changed the rules. And I thought, there could have been some more risky nominations. And I guess the Academy is just not there yet. It may never be, right? Because every year I think we have some sort of grievance about something. Right?
Well, it's like the Oscars, they're either like too pop culture or they're too political, or at some other extreme, they're not realistic, right? To make room for movies like His House or Invisible Man or things like that, right? So it's either going to be if it's a genre film, it's going to be incredibly, in the zeitgeist and something that they want to align with politically, right? Or it's something else, or it's, they've been paid off enough, or something. And
the Academy is always talking about how they're losing viewers like hand over fist to get
they keep doubling down on the same problem.
I know. It was just like, well, the way to get more viewers and have people pay attention to you again is start maybe picking more popular movies, or encouraging your members to vote for more popular movies. Not just what you think is good or important, but remember what people liked and what they saw. For a lot of people, Invisible Man was the last movie they saw in the theater.
At the same time, though, I'd like to elevate movies like His House.
Yes.
That may not be completely in vibe with the current zeitgeist, but they're still extremely important and heartfelt.
I think what's sad is that I think a lot of Academy members didn't see His House. And I mean, that's just the reason that people weren't talking about it so much. Yeah. So, some movies, and I haven't seen a lot of these. Like, I just didn't watch any of these, like, quote unquote Academy movies this year. And I have to do some big catching up before the show comes on. And I'm really curious to see how the show is going to play out this year, pandemic wise. Right. So I don't know. We'll look forward to that. Or maybe I will just look forward to that. I don't know.
We're going to have a little Oscar party.
Oh my God. We should. I haven't had one in a while.
Yeah.
But just the 4 of us, right?
Oh, yeah. Only people that aren't going to shit on it, So in our next item, Evan Peters is set to play Jeffrey Dahmer in Ryan Murphy's new Monster series for Netflix.
I feel like we've seen this before.
First of all, I have several problems with this, right? First of all, it's Ryan Murphy. No, I'm just joking. I'm okay. My second problem is that it's named Monster, right? We already have an excellent movie with Charlize Theron as Eileen Wuornos, and a movie called Monster. Please just call it Dahmer or something. I know there's a million other Dahmer films out there, but come on. Give me a break. Meanwhile, also it's Evan Peters, which I feel like we're a little oversaturated with him on WandaVision and in movies and all sorts of things with, I know he's like the golden boy for Ryan Murphy, but I don't really believe him as Dahmer.
And I mean, like, he could have some sort of transformation. He does sometimes when he's acting, right?
Yeah.
When I first read this headline, I was like, good God, just let it go. I mean, like, yeah, it's a story, but I think we've seen this way too many times. And then I read on to say that the show is actually largely going to be told from the perspective of his victims. And I was like, well, that could be interesting. And they're also going to talk about why he was able to commit these crimes so freely, and the cops just never did anything about it. Like, he was almost arrested so many times, and they're going to explore those themes a little bit too. And so maybe it'll be a little different than things we've seen before.
Yeah.
But I mean, even as a fan of true crime, I've gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, stop glorifying serial killers so much, right? So if they do something a little different and sort of play that up, then I think it will be better. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I know we've already said the words Resident Evil about a gobbledygillion times in this episode, but the Resident Evil film reboot has officially been titled Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. And apparently the director is drawing inspiration from John Carpenter.
Really? And not Jorge's vision for the original Resident Evil film?
Or even just drawing inspiration from the
Resident Evil
series. I mean, I don't know. In this article, he talks about...
but which John Carpenter?
Yeah, so he's talking about two movies specifically. Assault on Precinct 13 and The Fog is where he drew inspiration from. The look on Chris's face is priceless.
I was expecting some cross between like The Thing and They Live or something, for Resident Evil, like Raccoon City, right?
Yeah.
Versus The Fog. I mean, I like the first half of The Fog. I think it's an excellent horror movie. I think the last half is not as great, but the first half is right up there with like Jaws or something. Like it's just really good.
And I like Assault on Precinct 13. And I think that he is, he's saying that he drew inspiration from these movies, especially Assault, because it's about a group of people coming together who really don't know each other and having to survive a situation, right?
Yeah,
so I get it. And then he's talking about, so this movie is going to draw heavily from the first two video games. He's talking about there being so much atmosphere, like it's raining and stuff in the video games. And so maybe he's just drawing inspiration from The Fog's atmosphere. I don't know.
Watch Silent Hill.
Either way, Dog Daddy's 82, we will probably watch this reboot movie, and I'm sure that we'll have thoughts about it, so stay tuned, right?
Mm-hmm. Next up, I am sad to report that Yaphet Kotto, actually very successful as a film actor, including playing a James Bond villain, but also from Alien, right? Is one of the space truckers we know and love, and he died at age 81.
That's right. I remember talking about him during that episode where we covered Alien and saying that he was one of our favorite parts of the movie. He really is like a likable character in that movie. Mm-hmm. And sad to see him go.
Coming soon.
We actually have a lot of trailers to talk about on this Shooting the Flames. I know it's been a steady increase. We went from like none to 1 to 4 to like now 17, right?
Well, it's not quite 17, but yeah, the dam hath broke.
I mean, it seemed like for a while you weren't sending me any links to look at, and now every day it seems like there's a new trailer to watch.
Our trailer hath runneth over. I don't know.
And the first one we're going to talk about is a TV series called Calls. And this is going to be on Apple TV.
That's right. And the trailer is a bunch of like waveforms. Actually, you're going to see, it reminds me of the trailer for White Noise, right?
Exactly.
Where it's just a bunch of phone calls and you can see the waveforms of people talking and everything. And it seems like it's just going to be spoken word. I feel like that trailer is literally what we're going to be hearing. We're going to be hearing different collections of voice, voicemails and messages and things like that are going to be telling stories. Mm-hmm. It's going to be kind of creepypasta-ish, I think. That's my impression, especially with the huge cast they got.
Yes.
Usually with a huge cast like that and not showing any like voices like that, it's going to be strictly voice acting.
I mean, because the list of names in this trailer is just outstanding. It's like everybody who's an actor is in it. You know what I mean?
It's a podcast that you have to have Apple TV to listen to.
Exactly. These are my thoughts. And I was just like, well, if it's just going to be waveforms on the TV, just release it in podcast.
I know. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe there's going to be like pictures, that go along with it, files, reports as they talk, or little details in the background that you have to look for. I don't know.
I mean, I'm very intrigued because it doesn't give a whole lot away in this trailer. It's just like little snippets of calls. It seems creepy, and the cast is stacked, So, I mean, it's something that I'm interested in watching. I just don't know if I want to subscribe to another fucking service to watch it.
Maybe it's going to be like Drunk History, but instead it's going to be like drunk serial killers. And you're watching a whole like reenactment, but celebrity voices being mouthed by the actors in the scene.
Oh my God.
It would be so distasteful.
Something's going on. Get out of the house. I mean, we could just have all that in our earbuds. We don't have to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm intrigued.
Me too. And I probably will watch it.
Next up, we've got a trailer for a video game, which is Resident Evil Village. Yet another Resident Evil item on our docket to talk about today. And of course, this looks really, really, really good. And of course, this has been in the pop culture for a little while now. People have been talking about the 8-foot-tall woman. I think someone said they wanted her to, someone famous said they wanted her to sit on his face or something. Like, there's a whole thing and like memed them right now with this trailer. So I don't know. It looks like a nice, creepy trailer. It looks like it's a really well done game. So I look forward to looking at it, possibly playing it. And maybe this will be my first Resident Evil game that I'll play.
You haven't played any?
No.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, because you sent me the link and I watched it.
I think I played like some of the first ones, like maybe there was like an arcade version of one at some point. Maybe I'm talking about something else. I don't know.
House of the Dead is kind of
maybe it was House of the Dead. I'm thinking.
Oh my God, I knew something about video games. Look at me. Oh, I have been to an arcade. I've been drunk before at an arcade. I mean, come on.
Don't come for me.
Or me, really. But yeah, so you sent me this link and I watched it and I was like, oh my God, it looks incredibly real, right? At first I thought it was a movie. You sent me the link and I watched it and I was like, it looks incredibly real. I thought that it was a movie, but I mean, obviously it's not. It's a video game. And but yeah, that lady looks creepy as shit.
It looks very unique. Like they've done a lot of world building there. It looks unique, even compared to the other Resident Evil games. So.
I mean, there's going to come a time, and it probably already is the time, where like watching a game is going to be like watching a movie, right? Obviously. So, and it just looks so real. I was so impressed. Mm-hmm. Next up is a trailer for a movie called The Unholy, which will have already been widely released into theaters at the time of this podcast's release. So, and this is something that is Sam Raimi produced. It looks like it has a lot of like religious horror going on, but there's a man who's investigating sort of like a cult, or this woman who's got, has enthralled the nation and the world, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with that. It looks very possession-y.
I like that. Like, I like that in horror movies. I feel like we need more of that, where things get global, right? Where like Pulse kind of got global in a way, and like some of the others. Not that that's a great movie, but I kind of like it when things kind of zoom out a little bit. And I like, for that reason, like Damien.
The Omen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Omen kind of gets that way throughout the series, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. It's just being like a world leader and things like that. And so this is really interesting to me because it's like a global phenomenon, like kind of chasing after the whole, like, oh, I saw Mary on toast, or like, this is a new prophet or something, like this person's speaking for, kind of like a big, they ride the wave of popularity for a few months or whatever, but this is one of those things. And it kind of reminds me of the Exorcism of Emily Rose. That came out. It was kind of like half horror movie, half exorcism movie, and half courtroom drama. And so I liked there's political intrigue in this. Like there's kind of like a thriller element to it. And then there's also schlock horror in it, which is really strange. It's like two different movies in one trailer. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really intrigued. Yeah,
I have to agree with you because the visuals look just fucking crazy through some of this. And I'm like, oh, it's been a long while since I would like, you know what? I kind of would like to see this in a theater, And so I think we even talked about that off mic, right? Like I might risk it or something, but then you reminded me that we can still run an entire theater to ourselves. And I'm like, I'm just elitist enough to do that shit. But yeah, I do want to see this really bad and I'm looking forward to watching it. And I don't know, I hope it's good. It's rated PG-13. So
what?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Fuck.
Which gives me hope that Rob would like it.
So. I need an unrated version already.
Well, I mean, if Sam Raimi has anything to do with it, then we'll probably get some sort of...
How is it PG-13?
I mean, Drag Me to Hell was PG-13.
Really?
I think so.
No way.
But then he had that unrated version come out.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I liked it in both. So.
Yeah, I mean, I love that movie. I like anything that Sam Raimi touches is perfectly good.
We'll see. But he directed Drag Me to Hell, so...
Yes.
I don't know who directed Unholy.
I don't remember either, but it looks good. And I think that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is some kind of dreamy, so... I'm there for it.
The next movie we are going to talk about is Stowaway, which stars Toni Cunting-Collette.
Yes. Speaking her native Australian in this one. She's done American so much over the last several years in her roles that it's kind of shocking to hear her.
Yeah, and this is more of a sci-fi thriller, and it's also got that one chick from Twilight.
Anna Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick, yeah, that's right.
That one chick. Out of all of her movies, she's been nominated for an Academy Award. You're like that girl from Twilight.
Sorry, that movie is seared into my memory.
She wasn't even a big part in Twilight. Why do I know so much about Twilight?
She was the mean girl.
She was the main girl.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're up in the spaceship and, I guess the maintenance guy or something racist, for some reason he's not already included in the crew. And so he gets stowed away. And then it turns out he's stuck with them for a 2-year mission to Mars. And then they run out of gas. No, wait, they run out of air. That's right.
Right.
They run out of air. So they're all suffocating. And so it's going to be like an Apollo 13 type of situation, but with a stowaway. So
that's right.
It's a Netflix original.
I think that he's some sort of he's doing something on the ship and he gets stuck and they take off.
Yes.
So it's unintentional.
Yeah, but I see that a lot as like almost like a new trope, like the new Ghostbusters movie with all the women. Mm-hmm. Right. So Leslie Jones' character was like just this like lady off the street because she could drive. Right. All the others are scientists. All the white girls are scientists.
I've never seen that movie. Is that true? Oh my God.
Right. And so the same thing with this, like the only black person like that I could see from the trailer is essentially the guy that stowed away because he's like the mechanic or something that was supposed to get off. So I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't want to ascribe anything to this. I don't want to like give it, bad vibes. Just did. It's too late. But
it looks like it has
it looks good. It does.
It has some good dramatic moments. I'm always happy to see Toni Collette.
Yes, it has Toni Collette. Just forget what I said about the Twilight racism vibes and see it.
It's going to be on Netflix at the end of the month. I mean, like, this is not even horror adjacent, probably.
It's a thriller, sci-fi thriller.
So
yeah, there's some adjacency.
I mean, honestly, at this point, when I see Toni Collette, then I'm just like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was another movie that we watched a trailer for called Bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
And
let's be honest.
It's about werewolves. I don't know. I mean, so like there's a lesbian music performer who goes to some guy's house to do some recording. And I guess he like brings out her inner animal that was there all along anyway.
Yeah. When I first watched this trailer 5s and 10s of minutes ago, I remember saying, because it was tried to like, this is the most unique, the most different horror werewolf movie you'll ever see. And I was like, so it's going to be good?
Probably not. But
I have never seen a great werewolf. I've seen plenty of like okay and some good, some okay, like some venturing into good territory, but I've never seen a great werewolf film.
I have seen a great werewolf
and maybe film. I need to see American Werewolf in Paris again, but
oh God, no, that's nowhere near great.
Or American Werewolf in London, rather.
London. That's the way to go. Do not venture over into Paris territory with werewolves.
Your mouth. No, don't listen to that.
What a shit-tacular movie that was. God.
I meant London. Sorry. Yes, I haven't seen that since I was a child, so I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, I would say that's a great movie.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, this one looks, I mean, like, they're, of course, they're going to pick the best critic things to put on the screen, right? And it's like twisted and provocative. And I'm like, okay. I mean, like, you can keep throwing those buzzwords out. And of course, it makes me want to see it.
Horror fans should salivate, is what it's like. Yeah.
I mean, and she is like, there's a moment where she's like drinking blood from that raw piece of steak from the refrigerator. I mean, that's gross. So
yeah, just drink it like a goblet. Come on.
I mean, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment and I continue to watch werewolf movies, even though I don't really like them. So it's
the promise. It's the promise.
Exactly. I mean, twisted and
provocative. They're right for the opportunity.
I'm just waiting. One day I'm going to be surprised.
One of my favorite werewolf things lately is actually from that Robots Death and Kill or whatever the fuck it was. From from Netflix.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, Robots. There's a werewolf episode with the two soldiers. And I thought that was actually pretty fascinating.
That was a really good episode.
Yeah, where they were used as soldiers and they were kind of apart.
I really liked that series.
That was, yes. Anyway, I'm really hoping for more soon. But next up, we've got the full trailer for The Nevers. We talked about this last Shooting the Flames, but this is the actual full trailer. The last trailer was and I was intrigued because, of course, it used to have Joss Whedon's name attached, but this is much more fleshed out of a trailer and it's much more intriguing. So I would definitely suggest everyone go and watch this full trailer for The Nevers. And of course, it's going to be on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much more you want to talk about it, but I will say this, that I had no idea this even was a thing. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know it was being made. And now that I've seen these two trailers, and especially this longer trailer, I have such a fucking hard on for this show. I want to watch it so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like fucking, I don't know, like Regency X-Men. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yes! I'm so ready for it. I mean, this is probably one show you're not going to have to ask me 15 years to like watch, right? I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
When it comes on.
Right.
So next up, we're talking about a movie that is already on Shudder at the time of this recording. I think it was released on March 25th, and it's a movie called Violation.
Right. And it's got actually pretty good reviews, especially for a Shudder original, although we're seeing more and more good reviews for Shudder originals. They're growing a really, really well-reviewed catalog more recently.
Yeah, I think like Shudder is really fucking putting their money where their mouth is, and they're going after properties. They're like, I mean, if people make a movie, an independent horror film, and they're trying to find a home for it, Shudder's being very brave and buying these movies and making them Shudder originals. And
well, they're starting to be less of a partner with like places like Blumhouse and being more of a competitor.
And that's good. You know, I mean, like, I really like Shudder. I have been a subscriber since they started. And this movie looks good. And it's a good trailer, too, because you really can't tell what the movie's about.
No, they're keeping it really close to the chest, which is actually really annoying to me. It's just as annoying as when you show too much, like you show the whole movie.
Oh, you think this should just a little bit more?
No, I feel like it, and then this is almost like it's a full, like 2-minute long trailer that's not telling you anything. To me, that's annoying. I'd rather it be somewhere in the middle. I don't want it too much, but I'd rather at least know what it's about. We kind of know like they're going out camping or something.
Yeah, they're at some sort of cabin or lake. And I mean, like,
I only know from reviews what I really know about it, not from the trailer. I know like from the article titles, like that it's a rape revenge movie, that there's nauseating a rape scene, just from Googling the title of this, right? So I don't know. There's been some really good rape revenge movies in the past few years.
Yeah.
And if this one's getting good reviews despite its nauseating scenes, then, you know, I'm on board.
I mean, if someone describes a scene as nauseating, I pretty much want to see it like immediately. And I really liked the fact that this trailer didn't show me too much, you know what I mean? Because I felt so uncomfortable watching it. It was cut in a way that I knew that I'd be uncomfortable watching this movie, right? And that's enough sell for me, you know? I used to like look forward to multiple trailers for movies that I want to see, but I've gotten to a point in my life where I'll watch like a trailer and then just leave it alone and watch the movie, right? Because I've learned my lesson sometimes, but this is one that I really do want to see. So
same.
Stay tuned, y'all. The last trailer we want to talk about is something that I just discovered yesterday at the time of this recording, and I could not wait to talk about it with you. And that movie is called Aquarium of the Dead.
Yeah, this trailer looks hilarious.
It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you.
That's what I was about to do that. Thank God you did.
Without a dope beat to step
Shouldn't
to.
have left you. What was that?
Anywho, Aquarium of the Dead. It's been a long time since we've seen a trailer for a movie that just looks deliciously stupid.
Yeah.
And has a trailer to match. So in this particular movie, Vivica A. Fox is like the vice directress of an aquarium or something like that.
Something, yeah.
And they've been given this medicine to give to their sea creatures, but the medicine is bad and it turns them into like zombies. So there's like zombie octopi and fucking zombie starfish and zombie walruses and shit.
Zombie crabs and
yes,
king crabs and shit.
And I cannot wait to watch this movie.
Yeah, they're all trying to be face huggers. The starfish like jumping onto people's faces. And there's a giant octopus that's like coming down a hallway at someone, and yeah, it just looks like a hoot.
I mean, frankly, when I watched this last night, I had just smoked a little bit, and then I watched that fucking trailer, and I just died. I was just ready.
So where can we find Aquarium of the Dead?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's not out yet.
No.
So, but when it does come out, I will report back because I'll be watching it like immediately, if not sooner. So thank you, Vivica A, for bringing us quality entertainment like Aquarium of the Dead. We're forever in your debt. Well, I guess that just about wraps up this month's Shooting the Flames. As always, we want to know what you think about the things that we've talked about here. We love your comments. Leave them on social media at The Film Flamers on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram.
You can email us at tiredqueens@filmflamers.com, or better yet, call us on our hotline at 972-666-7733. Leave us a voicemail and let us know exactly what you thought of anything, including any of our movies that we've deep dived into the past, any of our Shooting the Flames. We love comments. We are looking for Johnny Come Lately, so it's never too late.
That's right. We have a whole back catalog for you guys to go listen to. So do that, make those comments, and we'll read them here. We've already talked about leaving us reviews and our Patreon pages, so go check those out. And finally, we never talk about this, but we have Film Flamers merch, y'all. So head over to our website, filmflamers.com, head over to the merch page, and you can find things like awesome t-shirts and hoodies.
Or even coffee mugs. And leggings.
Leggings.
And a fanny pack. We just added a fanny pack.
I still have to buy the fanny pack. I keep forgetting to buy
and phone cases, which I need to update to the latest iPhones. And yeah.
But it's all there for you guys. And if you happen to buy something, take a picture with it and send it over to social media, and we will share that with everybody.
Eagerly.
Well, Chris, I think it's time that we head off and see if we can visit that Aquarium of the Dead. What do you say? Really, that trailer was nothing but like screams and dolphin noises. I loved it. Okay, let's go off and have some
sweet dreams.
Been a long time. Should have left you without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two.
Is that the song though? It's not the song.
No, that's a different song.
Okay,
she's like, boy, I've been watching you like a hawk in the sky. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself up and try again.
Stick and stick. Ah, wait.
Good.